Every day, families in Gaza wake up not knowing if they will have food to eat. Children go to bed hungry, their stomachs aching, their futures uncertain. But together, we can change that. Sense Islam and Charity Right UK are providing daily meals to those who need them most. Your support can mean the difference between hunger and hope, between despair and dignity.
Ramadan Mubarak to all the brothers and sisters supporting Sense Islam with charity rights. We are here in Jabalia in northern Gaza. These children receives meals for an entire year. Together, we are fighting hunger. And let's keep this mission alive, and please continue supporting us during this blessed month. And thank you.
For just a small donation, you can put food on their table and warmth in their hearts. Don't let them suffer alone. Give today, be their lifeline. Donate now because every meal matters. Link in the description box below. Assalamu alaikum brothers and sisters. I hope you are well. Yesterday, stand-up comedy nights were held in a very unusual place for some people. Usually used for discussing important matters, the place transformed into a hub of laughter and joy. One would have never imagined this place, but given the state of today's world, it now seems possible. The place we are discussing is the European Parliament. Shocked? Let us know all about this incident by looking at this viral clip.
Liderança que está cada vez mais longe de representar todos.
Est-ce que je peux d'abord demander au Conseil d'arrêter de rigoler? Vous êtes en train de rigoler ici pendant que nous parlons de la mort de je ne sais pas combien de Palestiniens, d'une population qui se fait affamer, et vous êtes là en train de rigoler en faisant des blagues. Ce n'est pas drôle, des Palestiniens, c'est des êtres humains aussi. Vous devriez avoir honte. Et c'est ça ce qui est aujourd'hui la caractéristique de cette Union européenne, un mépris pour la vie des Palestiniens. Parce que oui, vous avez réussi à faire un discours en disant « Ah, la situation à Gaza s'empire » sans mentionner pourquoi elle s'empire. Et donc les gens, les familles, les enfants n'ont pas d'eau potable et vous êtes là en train de rigoler. Comment est-ce possible, monsieur le ministre? Comment est-ce possible, s'il vous plaît? Alors aujourd'hui, cette complicité européenne et ce manque de respect pour la vie des Palestiniens doit se terminer parce que ça va se payer cash, je vous le promets.
This clip is from a parliamentary session in Europe where Belgian MEP Mark Botenga called out the double standards of European leaders after witnessing an appalling display of disregard for human life. During a plenary session discussing the worsening humanitarian crisis in Gaza, Polish Minister for European Affairs Adam Slapka and his colleague were caught laughing and mocking the suffering of millions. As seen in the viral clip, Botenga seems outraged over the attitude of Polish ministers. He slammed them openly for that disgusting reaction while the humanitarian crisis of Gaza was being discussed. They seemed to laugh at the idea of discussing Gazans' human rights when heartless politicians like them don't even consider them humans. Botenga also criticized the passive voice used when talking about Gaza's situation. He said that everyone agrees that Gaza is in a terrible state, but no one dared to say how it got that way and who was responsible for the destruction, because if they did, they would be fired or face other terrible consequences. After the session, Botenga stated in an interview when asked about the session, "It shows how hypocritical Europe is when it speaks of universal human rights." What he is saying is absolutely true. These are the very individuals who lecture the world on morality, on democracy, on human rights, yet when confronted with a real humanitarian catastrophe, even within the walls of the European Parliament, they fail to apply those same principles. They believe that their flashy three-piece suits, designer shoes, and pricey watches give them the right to look down on others and even laugh at their misery and sorrow. For 2 continuous years, Gaza has been ravaged by brutal assaults, cities reduced to rubble, and even after a ceasefire, the horror continues. Confirmed news reveals that Israel has repeatedly blocked humanitarian aid to Gaza, denying starving civilians food, water, and life-saving medicines. Imagine that children on the verge of starvation, unable to access even the most basic necessities. And yet, amidst these dire realities, 2 Polish ministers chose to laugh, to joke, to mock as if a comedy show was being performed before them. These men, who claim to be the defenders of European values, laughed at the suffering of Gazan children, laughed at the tears of women who have lost everything, laughed at the desperation of civilians clinging to life in a war-torn country. What does this say about those who claim to stand for human rights? And here's the most tragic part. Only one member of parliament had the courage to publicly criticize this action. Only one person in that room dared to say what was obvious, that this behavior is not just disgraceful but evil. The rest silent, complicit, afraid, because in today's world, calling out evil has become dangerous. Standing up for justice is a risk few are willing to take. What does this tell us about the state of European politics? What does this reveal about the global situation? The suffering in Gaza is not a joke. It's not a laughing matter. It is something over which one should cry day and night. Others who laugh at innocent civilian suffering should be exposed as soulless hypocrites. This clip has certainly highlighted that there is only one individual in the entire parliament who genuinely advocates for human rights and comprehends its true significance. In contrast, the others, including the two ministers who laughed, fall into the category of those who only pretend to be the champions of human rights while mocking the suffering of others, especially if the suffering ones are Palestinians. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala save us all from hypocritical leader. Ameen.
Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. Today is the 31st of October, and here from North Gaza, alhamdulillah, now we are prepared these hot meals that will be distributed for the displaced families in the shelter center here in Jabalia, in this catastrophic area. I would like to thank you very much for the Charity Rights UK for this gracious support, and also especially for Since Islam for this kindly donation. Thank you very much for Since Islam for your campaign to help North Gaza people. We are highly appreciate your support, and we hope inshallah to continue your support to feed more people. There is more than 100,000 of people who doesn't have any kind of food, and they are really in starvation due to the situation in North Gaza. جزاكم الله خيرا وبارك الله فيكم.
نشكر سنس إسلام على الوجبة اللي جابوا لنا إياها. Thank you, Sharia.